You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready, it's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and on the line we have DC chiming in. What's going on, DC?
Yo, what up?
And in this podcast, 222, so if you're a numbers fan, 222 on the Sports Coma podcast, we'll be recapping the trade the Saints made for Teddy Bridgewater, QB Teddy Bridgewater from the Jets. Of course, we'll be recapping that trade. That's the news of the day as far as the Saints are concerned. And we'll have it here on the Sports Coma today. Also, another little underline.
Signing that special team player, not the news of the day.
Right up under that is this fact that the Saints did sign wide receiver Tanner McEvoy to come in. Now, he's a guy the Saints know is a pretty good special teams guy. So
That's big news. Somebody getting cut.
that's right. The question is, we're going to deal with that. But our issues is we're going to talk about what does that signing mean to guys like Chris Banjo or Justin Hardy, or Nate Stupoff, perhaps. The special team aces that's known on his team. What does McEvoy signing mean to those guys? Perhaps nothing. We'll break it down today on the show.
Oh, it means something.
Other topics on the show today is why does Tyler Davidson seem like Mr. Untouchable? We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about that on the show. It seems like everybody who's a star, his position is established, but when it comes down to guys like Tyler Davidson, nobody seems to talk about Tyler Davidson, even though from what I've been noticing, didn't look like he had a pretty good camp to me. It looked like a pretty normal, below normal camp for Tyler Davidson. But anyway, we're going to get into that story. Also, we're going to have DC chiming in on his roster, his 53-man roster, what the Saints team is going to look like Monday morning after all of the cuts.
It's going to look like champions.
We're going to have him to break down to us what his 53-man roster look like today on the show. Of course, I'm going to give mine on the next show. And then the Sports Coma question of the day. We'll give you the Sports Coma question of...
Wait, hold up. I just called something. How you get to give your roster on the next show after the 4 preseason games?
We don't want to hit everybody with everything now.
So you can look all good.
Gotta pull it back and hold it because we don't want to give them too
after
much
the game
information.
4-star shine, so you can look all
right.
good, huh?
So, without further ado, let's get into podcast 222 on the Sports Coma. We'd like to thank everybody, all the new and established listeners, for joining us today on the Coma as we talk about this spectacular trade. Now, DC, the Saints, they pulled it off. We had a couple of commenters that said that, that made the reference. You said on a couple of shows ago that the Saints should go out and get Teddy Bridgewater. They must be listening to the show.
Yeah.
And they went out and got it. Now, of course, the particulars of the trade is that the Saints, they gave up a 3rd-round pick to receive Teddy Bridgewater and the Jets' 6th-round pick from next year. Okay, so that's the Saints' 2019 3rd-round pick. So the Saints are without a 1st-round pick because of the Davenport move on draft. Then now they're without a 3rd-round pick from that same draft, but they do get the Jets 2019 6th-round pick along with Teddy Crescent City Bridgewater. So as far as that goes, that is the trade particulars. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this deal. What do you think about the trade that the Saints were able to pull off to get Bridgewater down here?
A+. You give up a 3rd-round pick to get a 1st-round guy, and you get a 6th-round pick back, and you pretty much solve your quarterback backup issues, which Teddy Bridgewater, people forget. Teddy Bridgewater was the rookie of the year. Then he came the next year, and he was a Pro Bowler. Like, this ain't no slouch. You ain't getting he's got a high ceiling than Chase Daniels, and Chase Daniels is one of the best backups in the NFL. Like, you can't get better than that, in my opinion. I don't know what move they could have made outside of finagling Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore because everybody thought was going to draft him. I mean, what bigger move could you have made to solidify your quarterback backfield, man? I think it's awesome. I think they deserve an A+. Mickey Loomis then work some magic again. The Mickey Mouse done it again, y'all. And I think this is gonna be a guy that's around for a while and may very well take over the reins after Drew Brees is down. Well, retired.
Very, very well said. I have to agree. This is a high. I give the Saints a high mark for pulling this trade and the fact that they recognize that Tom Savage wasn't the guy on this team. Now, me and DC covered it, and a lot of people say, statistically speaking, Tom Savage was solid in preseason and in camp. But if you look at him on tape, we said before, and I told y'all and I warned y'all about him, is the fact that he is supposed to be a lot further along. What is he, 4-year QB? And he's supposed to be a lot further along in recognizing what's going on defenses. I mean, he doesn't scan the field properly. He's not making the proper throws when he needs to make them. He's way too chicken. I ain't gonna call him chicken, but he's way too conservative at times when you don't have to be conservative. And the Saints recognize that. And of course, they bring Teddy Bridgewater in. And of course, he's the one directly impacted because that means he's out of a job. Taysom Hill obviously going to make the team because of his special teams prowess, and he'll learn behind these two guys and he'll get better.
It's 2-point conversion prowess too.
That's right. So this is a very interesting signing because it solidifies and gives the Saints depth at one of the weakest positions in terms behind Drew Brees. And it answers perhaps the question about the backup quarterback position going down. Of course, Teddy only have a 1-year contract that he's under. It'll be interesting to see if the Saints do retain him after that 1 year is over with and see how it is. But I like the pick. They gave up a 3rd rounder for him, DC. A lot of people not going to like the fact that they gave up a 3rd rounder for Teddy Bridgewater. What do you think?
You know what I say to those people? Shut the hell up, because you don't know what you're talking about. A 3rd round pick for us, I think people have gotten spoiled because we got Traquan Smith this year. We got Alvin Kamara last year. So people looking at a 3rd round pick like it's a 1st round pick. But go look in the league and see what most teams get with their 3rd round pick. Usually you strike with your 1st or 2nd rounder, and everything after that is a crapshoot. To give up a 3rd round pick to get a quarterback that can pretty much start on, let's say, about 25 teams in the league. I mean, other than your elite quarterbacks, if Teddy Bridgewater went to the Tennessee Titans, I mean, and they took Mariota out, would the Tennessee Titans lose any steam? Like, you know what I'm saying? That dude was the number 1 pick, Mariota. So when you look at it from that aspect of people who just understand quarterbacks and football and how rare and hard it is to get a quarterback, it's pretty difficult to be a winning franchise and draft a quarterback, man. You're really lucky if you pull that off. That's why Bill Belichick was so mad that he had to trade Jimmy Garoppolo, because they drafted that guy. I mean, you don't pull that off. But I think those people are crazy, man. And I'm still trying to figure out how Tom Savage has a name like Tom Savage and he's so pedestrian. But I'm glad he's out of here. So we could have had Tom Savage for all you people who regret the Saints doing this. I don't know what you want.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a severe upgrade over Tom Savage, no doubt about it. Teddy Bridgewater, a little background on him. He was a 1st round pick, 32nd overall by the Minnesota Vikings back in 2014. He's a 5-year pro out of Louisville, highly touted when he came out. His career numbers, of course, is 86% passer, 6,150 total passing yards with 28 touchdowns versus 22 interceptions. So, and of course, he got hurt back in 2015, which caused him to sit out an extended period of time with that leg injury. But since then, if you watch his film when he was with the Jets during preseason, he looks fantastic. No ill effects of that terrible, devastating injury that he had. And he's obviously a guy now that is ready to take the next step, and we're glad to have Teddy Bridgewater. Now, let's go on to our next topic, DC. We're going to talk about the other move the Saints made, the less publicized move. The Saints signing wide receiver Tanner McElvoy. Now, of course, McEvoy is a guy known for his special team prowess. And of course, he's 6'6", and the Seattle Seahawks waived him on Sunday. He's an undrafted guy out of Wisconsin, and from 2016, he played wide receiver, quarterback, and safety in college. And he also completed a 43-yard pass against the Saints in 2016. Now, what does this signing a wide receiver that's 6'6" for the Saints, obviously not going to play in the wide receiver room as a 6'6" wide receiver. Obviously, the Saints see this man more of a special team contributor. He also was involved in blocking a punt last year. He had 4 tackles and a forced fumble. So this guy is doing a lot on special teams for Seattle last year. The Saints hoping that he can bring that prowess and help the Saints. Now, what does this mean to New Orleans to sign Tanner McEvoy and bring him in to New Orleans Saints, in your opinion?
If I was Chris Banjo or Justin Hardy, I would be living out of my suitcase right now. That's basically what it means. One of those guys, if not both of them, definitely is not making the team after you see the sign. I mean, it's pretty much a fact at this point. Who signs someone before the 4th preseason game just for depth? Usually in the 4th preseason game, you try to figure out who you can get rid of. You're not going around trying to sign people to play so your starters don't have to play. Usually you have too many people on the team. So I think this is a sign indicating that they want this guy on the team, and he's probably going to make the active roster. Obviously, to be special teams help, and maybe they feel like they can also get a mix of using him in the passing game too as a tight end, because we pretty much don't know what's going on behind Benjamin Watson and Josh Hill at this point. So Justin Hardy, Chris Banjo, one of y'all, it was nice knowing y'all, and we glad for everything y'all did for us. But hopefully you get another job somewhere else, because you're going to get cut from here.
Could definitely mean that. That Banjo, Hardy, and dare I say, Nate Stupar could be a cap casualty as well, because the Saints might see more upside in a guy like Jerome Elliott at the 6th linebacker spot than Nate Stupar. That's right. So this is the thing, that either one of those guys could be in trouble, because we spoke about Justin Hardy in his conversion from what was a wide receiver a year or so ago to a cornerback. He just doesn't look comfortable. He does fantastic special teams guys, but the Saints are looking more for their special teams guy to be able to contribute if they need them to due to injury. So not too much to ask for if you're a professional. Justin Hardy, Chris Banjo is another guy that's spectacular on special teams, but not so much when it comes down to regular play. And, of course, Nate Stupar has been on this team for some time now, and perhaps the Saints want a faster – I mean, Nate Stupar, I love him. Great heart and everything, but Nate Stupar is not exactly the fastest guy in the room no more. And, of course, Jerome Elliott has a lot more upside. I just be honest with you. And then he can come in a pinch and play pass rusher when you need him to. I'm sorry, Nate Stupar can't do that.
Right.
But anyway, let's move on to our next topic. We're going to talk about now Tyler Davidson. I call him Mr. Untouchable. And the reason why I call him Mr. Untouchable, because not everybody's attention is elsewhere. We're looking at the wide receivers. We're looking at the running backs. We're talking about the quarterbacks. We're looking at offense and defensive line in terms of pass rushers. And, of course, the linebackers and the cornerbacks. But we're not talking about this guy who just, that spotlight misses one or two guys perhaps every year. One of those guys is Tyler Davidson. Of course, we've been following and watching Tyler Davidson for some time now. He's one of our favorite guys on the team. But the truth be told is Tyler Davidson does not this year. Tyler Davidson had a pretty quiet camp, unextraordinary camp, very unextraordinary, very boring camp for Tyler Davidson. I haven't seen him rise or incline his play. I've seen more of him tear off or tank off his play. So, and this is in the last year of Tyler Davidson's rookie contract. So I would expect him to turn it up in preseason. In the training camp, but nobody seems to want to talk about Tyler Davidson, and they basically leave him alone. DC, let's talk about Tyler Davidson, who hasn't, in my estimation, in my observation, haven't looked good. Shouldn't he lose his job to Daniel Onyemata? Do you have some people say, no, you can't do that because he's more of a nose tackle and Onyemata is more of a D tackle. He should be backing up Sheldon Rankins, not taking Tyler Davidson's job. Now, of course, they'll do that NASCAR thing, but I'm talking about the base nose tackle. Is Tyler Davidson our best nose tackle? Seriously?
Tyler Davidson is basically not talked about because there ain't nothing to talk about. He don't talk. You don't never hear nothing from him. Out of sight, out of mind. But I can tell you why the Saints hold on to him. He's a familiar guy, and he's serviceable. There go that word again. Tyler Davidson is not hot garbage. He does good stopping the run. He consistently takes on two blockers. other than that, he's not overly impressive all the time. He gets the job done. And we've had him, and it's worked. So they're looking at him as a safe bet. Now, if you're looking for your players of the future, you have Sheldon Rankins and David Oyemata. If you remember, they drafted David Oyemata for Sheldon Rankins. So they were trying to get him to be what Sheldon Rankins was drafted already at. And David Oyemata has had a pretty steep learning curve, and he's excelled. So I think he definitely could be the nose tackle, but the thing we don't know is it's a different position. David Oyemata, basically, before we drafted him, was playing football for all of 2 years of his whole life. He had just started playing football. So I don't know if they want to just throw him out there in a new position after he's just starting to master the other position as a D tackle instead of a nose tackle. But he's definitely super aggressive. He's a big guy, and it could possibly work. And the Saints may wind up doing that out of necessity to have the best lineup that they could possibly have on the line, because David Oyemata is a beast, man. But Tyler Davidson, nonetheless, is one of the strongest guys on our team. Can't just underrate that. But he's definitely not improving. And if the Saints do cut him, I would say we're going to pick somebody up in free agency or possibly look to trade. But the signs we wanted, Ndamukong Suh lets you know that Tyler Davidson's numbered here. But probably finishes out his rookie year.
That's absolutely right. Not only just the Ndamukong Suh interest, but also Muhammad Wilkerson. The Saints attempted to try to upgrade a defensive tackle position next to Sheldon Rankins, and ultimately just said, you know what, we're just going to see what we can do with Oyemata. And then they brought Jay Bromley in. They brought in a couple of the undrafted guys like Taylor Stallworth in, and to see what those guys do to kind of assist Tyler Davidson out. That'll be it for the first segment of the show. We're about to go to break, and when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to let DC chime in with his 53-man roster, what the Saints are going to look like, in his opinion, when the season starts. We'll have all that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. You listen to the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Are you a diehard black and gold New Orleans Saints fan who wants to show everybody that your team is number one? Then go and click the link below and get all the latest Saints gear to rep your team. Now in stock on Fanatics. Ladies, men, and kids Saints jerseys, hats, t-shirts, license plates, and auto accessories, backpacks and bags, collectibles, footwear, pet accessories, tailgating and party supplies, and a whole lot more. Plus, for 24 hours only, you can receive free shipping on all orders over $29. That's right, for 24 hours, simply using the code 29SHIP. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that?
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. In the first segment, we covered the Saints trade to acquire Teddy Crescent City Bridgewater from the Jets, ultimately giving up a third-round pick. The Saints not only did get Bridgewater, but they also got, a lot of people don't want to mention, like DC said, a sixth-round pick. I mean, some people say, hey, man, that's nothing. But trust me, the Saints can do a lot of goodness with sixth-round picks there. In my opinion, they pick really well late in the draft. So Saints got that. We talked about that in the first segment. This time around, we're going to talk about and give the floor over to DC, who's going to tell us about his 53-man roster. And then we'll also have the Sports Coma question of the day that we'll hit you with later on. So, DC, without further ado, the floor is yours, my friend. Break down to the people and tell them what the Saints are going to look like on Monday.
I told you the Saints are going to look like champions on Monday. And it's going to start at the quarterback position because you pretty much can't go wrong here. You got Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, and Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is obviously going to get some reps with the first team, possibly. I think he may have a few trick plays and two-point conversion, stuff like that. So, awesome quarterbacks. I think we're going to have an A on the depth chart with our quarterback depth. Then you move over to the running back position. You got Mark Ingram out on a 4-game suspension. So, this right here frees up a roster spot. But I'm going to go with, let's say, 5 running backs without Mark Ingram. And that's including my fullback. We got Zach Line, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Williams. I'm going to go with Bo Scott and Trey Edmonds. Trey Edmonds could possibly supersede Zach Line or vice versa. But that's what it is right now. Now, with my receivers, I'm going with 6 receivers because Cameron Meredith's health is in question, in my opinion. That's not what the Saints are saying, but I think it's a bit of a problem. So you're going to have Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn, Cameron Meredith, and Traquan Smith as your, for sure people. And then I'm going to add Austin Carr and Brandon Tate to the mix. So that's my receiving position. Moving on to the tight ends. Benjamin Watson is going to be my starter. Josh Hill just can't seem to ever leave a Saints uniform for whatever reason. And I'm going to have to say Tanner McEvoy, man. I would like to see Dan Arnold, but I think we can stash him on the practice squad for now and activate him if need be. I don't think anybody's going to come and scoop him up from us. So it's pretty much going to be those 3 tight ends. My offensive line, everybody know the Furious 5, man. You got Tyron Armstead, Andrews Pete, Ryan Ramczyk, Max Unger, and Larry Wolford. Very good starting 5. I think anybody in the league would be happy to have him. But I'm only going to add 3 more players after that. And this was a tough decision. 2 of them I have to add because they have so much potential. And that will be Will Clapp and Rick Leonard. But I struggled with picking Jerome Bushrod over your guy, Q, Andre Tiller. I wanted to get him, but I just couldn't justify carrying 9 offensive linemen. And Bushrod obviously knows the system, and he's going to fit in my opinion, and be able to fill in for a guy like Armstead or Pete if one of them gets hurt. So I'm going to have to go with Bushrod there because of his versatility, as well as Will Clapp. And Rick Leonard has a huge upside. With my defensive line, another tough decisions here. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to pick it on what I want. This is one position where I'm not picking what I think the Saints are going to do. Because obviously I think the Saints are going to keep Tyler Davidson. But in my picks, he gone. I got Cam Jordan, Sheldon Rankins, Marcus Davenport, Alex Okafor, David Oyemata, Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to keep George Johnson, Devereaux Lawrence, and Mitchell Lohan. The reason I don't keep Tyler Davidson, I think, again, maybe we sign somebody in free agency, hopefully. Or there is the fact that Marcus Davenport can play D-tackle in the middle, NASCAR package. So can Alex Okafor. So can Trey Hendrickson. So can Mitchell Lohan. You get my point? So I really don't see the need in needing a guy like Tyler Davidson. We can put Oyemata there and try out Oyemata, like Big Q said. And we can run those 2 guys on the first unit. Hopefully sign a free agent, like I said before. But I mean, that's pretty much going to lead me to keep Mitchell Lohan, George Johnson, Devereaux Lawrence. I think we have tremendous depth and multi-versatile players on the defensive line. Defensive ends and D-tackles are interchangeable. Again, Sheldon Rankins can play DN. So we just got a bunch of hybrids here, and I think Tyler Davidson falls out the loop in my rotation, but the Saints probably wind up keeping him. Moving on to the linebacking core. I'm going to go with Alex Anzalone, Demario Davis, AJ Klein, trade bait, Craig Robinson, Matai Teo, and my last guy, I'm gonna have to pick Jaron Elliott just because he has huge potential and he can play special teams already. Kakaha is not very good on special teams. I don't remember him making any plays. Nate Stooper is a great special teamer, but what have you done for me lately? You've been hurt most of the time. So Jaron Elliott edges into that 6 linebacker spot. My defensive backs, it gets really interesting here. I'm going to take Von Bell, Kurt Coleman, Ken Crawley, Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus Williams, Nitrell Jamison, Patrick Robinson, and that leaves me with 3 other people. Okay? From that point, Arthur Millette has done enough, and I think he's going to make his case in this 4th preseason game to go ahead and be there. I'm going to also take Kareem Moore. A lot of people are going to be like, well, why are you taking Kareem Moore? Well, I'm taking Kareem Moore because he's versatile. He can play cornerback or safety. He was naturally a cornerback, Saints transition him safety. Got 2 guys that can do that, and I think that's going to leave pretty much Chris Banjo out. Big Q would like me to say that I get rid of Justin Hardy because he looks horrible as a cornerback, but I think we could possibly keep Justin Hardy around because he was the more impactful special teams player, in my opinion. Moving on from there, I'm going to have Will Lutz, Thomas Morstead, and Zach Wood to round out the special teams edition.
All right. DC, that sounds pretty interesting, man. The Tyler Davidson thing, to me, was probably one of the most impressive ones that you have, not Tyler Davidson. I haven't seen a draft, and I've seen quite a few of them, where Tyler Davidson wasn't included on the Saints active roster for 2018 going into 2019. So what spurred your...
I just find it hard to believe, man, because he's been here for so long. He's an active player, and I think the Saints probably more than likely keep him. I'm just crossing my fingers to hope we can do better. And what made me do it, it's not exactly a weak spot on our team. It's more of a question mark. It's a what if, what could be, mysterious type thing. I would like to see us sign a big nose tackle that can just suck them blockers up and still dominate in the run game. Tyler Davidson showed you preseason he wasn't doing that. If we don't get it on the team, which we're most likely going to do while keeping him on the roster, I would like to see us get a free agent.
Right. Very interesting, man. Very interesting indeed. DC's 53-man roster broken down here. Of course, DC telling you how you feel about it.
You know what? I'm sorry. I messed up one of my picks. I forgot a guy. I put Justin Hardy. I wrote my depth charts and I put Justin Hardy in there. I meant to take him out and put the other Williams in. So it's going to be Williams, Kareem Moore, Arthur Millette, Nitrell Jamison, Marcus Williams, Kurt Coleman, Ken Crawley, Sean Lattimore, Von Bell. None of the special teams aces make it because of the new guy that we signed.
So let me get this straight. Stupar,
gone.
Banjo,
gone.
Hardy,
gone.
All of them.
Gone.
In their places are who? Again, repeat that for the family. In their place, who replaces those guys?
Jaron Elliott replaces Stupar. Kareem Moore is going to replace Banjo, and Justin Hardy is getting replaced by Marcus Williams, the cornerback.
Wow. Pretty interesting player.
Pretty interesting nonetheless.
Wouldn't that turn special teams upside down to lose those guys? Because those 3 people you meet, they're the cornerstones of the special teams. I mean, Nate Stupar is made his bones. So Chris Banjo, it makes plays. And of course, Justin Hardy, too.
Nate Stupar has been hurt the whole time he played with us, Q. So when the last time we seen Nate Stupar on special teams? Obviously, our special teams was pretty good last year without him. I don't think we missed Nate Stupar. Chris Banjo and Justin Hardy, yeah, you're making the case. Saints more than likely could keep one of these guys and put Kareem Moore on the practice squad. But Kareem Moore, being that we drafted him in the 5th round, Nitrell Jamison, we drafted Nitrell Jamison in the 5th round, Kareem Moore in the 6th round. Every time we draft cornerbacks or guys like that, they make the active roster. I'm just following history and what makes sense. And we got 2 special teams aces and coaches, man. I think they can coach them guys up and create some more superstars. And obviously, our special teams hasn't been a problem in the preseason. Justin Hardy can't do anything but special teams, and Chris Banjo is pretty much the same way. We like players to do more than one thing.
All right. Well, that is.
Arthur Millette is pretty good on the special teams as well.
Well, that is DC's predictions on his what he believes is going to happen for the 53-man roster. Of course, if you disagree with him, please feel free to put your disagreement in the comment section below and tell us at the Sports Coma why you disagree with DC's thought process on his 53-man roster.
Yo, Big Q.
Break it down for him. Yes, sir.
PJ Williams and Haloi Kakaha are both out on my active roster.
Okay, DC says PJ Williams. Well, let's
after arguing you down about them making the team. Watching them in the preseason has changed my mind. I would like to keep PJ Williams, but he can't stay.
Well, you're a big man, DC. A big man is takes a big person.
I kept Craig Robinson though.
Well,
crazy man.
It takes a big person to admit their errors, and of course, we appreciate you for saying that. Of course, the Saints have a very important game coming up tonight at 7:00 in the Superdome. I apologize, admit my mistakes from the previous podcast, in which I said they'll be playing in Los Angeles. All of a sudden, I got California fever. It must have been. They are not playing in LA. They are playing in the comfortable surroundings of Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So that's where they'll be at. So that's where we'll be for tonight's game at 7:00 as they face off against the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, we don't usually preview the preseason games, but being that this was a Thursday's podcast, let's have at it. DC, what's your thoughts on the Rams game? Of course, none of the stars are going to play. We'll see mostly maybe second, third, and fourth team guys coming in and trying to use their final push to try to make an impression to make this team. What you see in the fourth and final preseason game between the Rams and the Saints tonight?
I think the Saints are going to put an impressive game up because now we have Teddy Bridgewater, and obviously he's going to play tonight. Probably not going to get much time, but he's definitely going to play. I think that's going to be very impressive with our first team offense or second team or wherever they put him. Taysom Hill's going to get some time, and I think you're going to see JT Barrett get a bunch of time. And the Saints are going to be very motivated to give the home team, our hometown fans, something to cheer about because last time we was in the Dome, man, it was pretty ugly. With the Arizona game, it was very embarrassing. That game was pretty much over in the second quarter, even though it's the preseason. We're a very prideful team, and we don't like to lose like that. We came back, kind of turned it into something later, but it was pretty much trash time, and it didn't mean. So I think we're going to see an exciting game, man, and you're going to see a lot of guys competing for their job and trying to prove me wrong on this roster that I got.
It's definitely money time right now for some of these players to try to prove themselves and make a last push effort for the Saints roster, or they could be just possibly, remember, they're just going to be auditioning for another job somewhere else. If they get released, somebody they'll catch on, or they could be auditioning for the practice squad. So, of course, the Saints going to have quite a few guys. Once that roster is deal, they're going to delegate to the practice squad. So it'll be interesting.
I think a major guy to watch tonight would be Tommy Lee Lewis. We all like him, and I think if he's able to produce maybe one of the biggest games he's ever had in the preseason, he can possibly find his way onto this roster.
That's big to say because some people believe, and like myself as well, believe that Tommy Lee Lewis is buried on the kick return, the punt return, the depth charts. He's buried in the wide receiver depth charts. Austin Carr, a lot of people not giving credit to Austin Carr. When my draft comes out tomorrow, I'm going to break down.
Austin Carr is on my team.
Right. Well, you and I both, but a lot of people don't think Austin Carr is going to make it. I'm telling you, just like I told y'all about Tom Savage, that Austin Carr you're going to see Austin Carr tonight. And Austin Carr will definitely make this team. And the Saints might keep 5. I know last year they kept 4 or 5. They kept 5 guys. But Austin Carr is a guy. They're going to keep 6 guys. And you say, why, Q? Cameron Meredith is, I'm telling you, when I'm seeing.
Brandon Tate, man.
Brandon Tate is going to be on us. He earned it. That's 5. And then the 6th spot, of course, we're looking at, say, okay, Cameron Meredith is not exactly, he doesn't look confident. He doesn't look comfortable is the word I'm searching for in the Saints offense. So we'll see exactly where that ends up. And that's why I think Austin Carr will end up on the team because of that. But go ahead, DC, what you were saying.
He's just rusty and wasn't fully healthy when we first put him out there. Yeah, I picked Austin Carr, man. But the only thing is Austin Carr can only do one thing. Tommy Lee Lewis can do several things and line up at multiple receiver positions. He knows the offense, and he's made a lot of plays during training camp, and he's made some plays during the preseason. So I don't think all hope is lost, but if he goes out there tonight and he looks like a man possessed, I think he could pull it off. But it would take a heroian effort. If you guys remember a guy we had, I forgot it's Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan was a guy similar to Tommy Lee Lewis, but his thing was he was good in special teams, couldn't do anything on offense. And somewhere during the preseason, man, he just took off, had a few big games, and he was pretty much not going to make the team. And he wound up forcing us not to cut him. So you can see history in the making tonight, man. You see another thing with Tommy Lee Lewis. He's a very talented player, but just hasn't seemed to put it all together. Sometimes I think he just tries too hard.
Yeah, it does look like he's trying a little too hard, and it might end up costing him an opportunity to make this team. So very interesting pick there, DC. And, of course, for the last topic on the show, of course, it's the Sports Coma question of the day. And that's, of course, something that we started on the Sports Coma to get more questions from you lovely people out there and to see what you guys think. Now, the question of the day is basically dealing with a guy by the name of Teddy Bridgewater, of course, right? And, of course, Teddy Bridgewater is a guy that a lot of people saying, well, why the heck did the Saints take Teddy Bridgewater? Well, obvious reasons.
Who are these people?
Trust me, they got guys out there, my friend. Like, why the hell we need him? We love Tom Savage, What
type of Saints fans are they? They must only watch the Saints in the Saints home.
So it's crazy, man. But that's what I'm saying, man, at the end of the day. The only question was the backup QB position of uncertainty, to be quite honest with you. All the other positions are pretty strong. So the question of the day is Teddy Bridgewater Drew Brees' successor, or is he bridging the gap for Taysom Hill? Answer the question. Put it in the comment section below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Is Teddy Bridgewater Drew Brees' successor, or is he bridging the gap for Taysom Hill? Answer it in the comment section. Remember that we read all replies to our question today on the following show. So remember that. DC, any parting thoughts before we leave?
I'm going to just leave that to myself because I know the answer to that question for me, but I don't know what they're going to put. So, it's very interesting.
All right, and that'll do it for the Sports Coma today. I'd like to thank all you lovely people for listening to us. As always, if you like and enjoy the show, you can go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, or just simply go to the description section. There's a link below. Also, join our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And remember, on Facebook and Twitter, we always blast out all the latest news and notes on the New Orleans Saints, the Pelicans, all kind of sports stories. So why go looking for Saints articles and news? Just make one stop. Join our Facebook or Twitter pages and get the news sent to you. Thank you for joining us and listening to the show. From me and DC, peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free entertainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Hello, Tiger fanatics. Are you ready for some football? If so, you need to head over to Fanatics. Click the link in the description section below and head over to get great deals on all LSU Tiger gear right now. Fanatics have all the great selection on everything Tigers. They have ladies and men's and children jerseys, footwear, t-shirts and dresses, golf and sports equipment, hats, pajamas and underwear, lawn and office gear, auto accessories, pet accessories, and much, much more. So if you're a Tiger and you want to show your Tiger spirit, click the link below and head over to Fanatics now to get all the top-notch LSU Tiger gear. And for 24 hours only, shipping will be free on all orders over just $29. Head over now and click the link in the description section below and be ready in style. Go Tigers.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, Lyfd, style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.